What up, people? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do kind of like part two to this video set about LeBron and the LA Lakers. Obviously, the king is back, right? Everybody's got the headlines. For those of you that follow the NBA and you've been watching some of my newest uploads, I've been taking a look at some of the stuff that's going on in the league. And one of the big storylines was LeBron being away from the team. Personal reasons were the only thing that were provided as explanation. He missed a couple of games, and he's back, and he looks to be pretty rested. I watched the first half of the game as it was playing out. The second half I actually missed. I fell asleep. Lakers games are, are a little bit too late for me. As an educator, I got to get some rest. But I was able to watch the second half highlights and look at all the scoring possessions, and I got to see some of the defensive stops and other things. So I got a pretty good grasp of the game and what exactly happened. Now, to kind of cover the game itself, the Lakers won the game. The Lakers were actually up big in the first half, which means I think in the second half, the Grizzlies made a game of it. They played a lot harder. They played much more organized, and they probably just better defensively, doing more to kind of close the gap. But the Lakers, they held them off, right? And I'm looking at the scores, right? So the Grizzlies were down 10 after one quarter, and then they were down, I think they got outscored by, looks like 8 points in the second quarter too. So they were down by 18 in the first half. And then the Grizz kind of closed the gap a little bit. They went up +9 in the third quarter, right? So that closes the lead a little bit. And even though the Grizz outscored the Lakers in the fourth quarter, the Lakers were just too far ahead at that point in time. So Lakers win, and AD had a monster game. And LeBron actually, from what I saw in the first half, he looked really good. He looked rested. He made some offensive plays. He had some shots. He was attacking the rim. He had like a chase down block after he had a dunk, I believe, or something. So that was pretty much the highlight of the game for him. But I'm going to look at the team stats here, first of all. All right, we got field goal percentage. The Lakers shot better. From 3-point, they shot a little bit worse, but the margin was minimal between the two teams. Free throw disparity is definitely apparent. The Lakers got more free throws, but they shot a lower percentage. The Grizzlies actually out-rebounded the Lakers, right? So that's kind of interesting. Very typically, teams that do more rebounding are in a better position to win the game. Offensive rebounds, the edge went to the Grizz. Defensive rebounds, the Lakers are +1. So kind of interesting to look how this went. Now, defensively, the Lakers looked better. They had more blocks. They had the same amount of steals. Turnover margin was minimal. The Lakers were -1 there. Points in the paint, more for the Grizz. And then personal fouls, the Grizz were called for more, and you could see the foul shot discrepancy. So this game was pretty close, right? The Grizzlies made a game of it at the end. And what I want to do is, I know a lot of the comments from my last video about LeBron, people are pretty upset, or they seemed bothered by some of the things I was saying, like LeBron is old. And if you've been watching the games objectively, he has looked old in a lot of these games where, he's losing a lot of steam after he's played about 25 or 30 minutes, and he looks worn out at the end of games, and he's taking bad shots at the end of games. He's pulling up from 25, 28 feet, and he's bricking shots. I've questioned his shot selection at times. The turnovers, that was one of the things we saw in this game. He was 5 turnovers in, which has become kind of a staple in LeBron's game. He turns the ball over a lot. So one of the things I think I would like to see him do in his last season, or maybe the next, season if he plays again next year, is to just take care of the ball better. Let that be part of your legacy, that even in your advanced ages, you were smarter with the ball. He turns the ball over a lot. And their team, the Lakers, are just not good enough to overcome major turnover discrepancies, especially in fourth quarters of games. You got to be careful with the ball, right? Rui had 8 points. LeBron had 18 points, had 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Now, when I watch the games, those rebounds don't really mean much to me. Typically, most of those rebounds just fall to him. So I don't really put much weight on like near triple doubles or anything. Because, who cares, if you're losing games getting triple doubles, right? But to be honest with you, the game was dictated, controlled, and won by Anthony Davis. Austin Reeves gave you a little bit off of on the offensive end. He scored 19. He had 8 assists, so he was dishing a little bit. And for the most part, that was where all their offense was coming from. A little bit of LeBron. He logged 34 minutes. AD was the one who carried the mail, and he was phenomenal and fantastic. In my opinion, the best two-way player in the league. If the Lakers are going to win, he has to be the focal point. He has to be the best player. If he's not, the Lakers don't have a chance in any game. He is the X factor. He always has been. He always will be. That's how they won the championship in 2020 in Disney World, right? That's how they found their way into the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago. It was because of AD. He's the best player on the team, and it's not even close, right? Everybody else is just an afterthought. Now, the thing that I want to mention about LeBron and his game, right? I saw a stretch in the fourth quarter where LeBron was out and AD was basically keeping the team afloat, right? And there were stretches in the game where LeBron was kind of operating, right? Like in the first half, everything was cool. They were up big. You got that flexibility to get out in front. I'm not really watching the Lakers in those moments. That doesn't tell me a lot. I'm looking for the other players to kind of step up and become, more meaningful to the offense, right? So I'm looking for guys like D'Angelo Russell to be making plays, which in my opinion, he's an afterthought whenever LeBron's on the floor. It just doesn't work because they kind of have to do the same thing, right? LeBron's on the ball. LeBron wants to dish and control where the ball goes. D'Angelo Russell kind of does the same thing. So they can't like coexist. It doesn't work. Gabe Vincent is giving you very little. Dolan connected didn't do much last night. He typically gives you more. Cam Reddish, played 14 minutes, nothing crazy. Max Christie got a ton of minutes. He logged 29 minutes, got you 7 points. So couldn't really get you much, even though he gave you, all of that time. So this game, the Grizz are a good team. They're surging. They're hot. This is a huge win for the Lakers to kind of, get off any type of losing streak. Losing consecutive games. You want to avoid that if you're the Lakers, right? They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. They've got to come together as a team defensively. They were getting some defensive stops, right? And like I'm saying, AD is the X factor. But the other guys got to play better in the pick and roll. LeBron, I did see some defensive effort in the first half. I can't really speak to the second half so much. But just looking at some of these, team stats with the turnovers, this game should have been put away by the Lakers. Why it was so close, I couldn't tell you, right? They were up big. They kind of relinquished the lead. I think these are things that they got to address and things that they got to fix. And LeBron had 5 turnovers recorded. Typically, when I watch the Lakers, the turnovers that I count don't match the ones that they count. So typically, he has like 6 or 7 when they say he has 5. So LeBron's got to take better care of the ball. He needs to have consistent output on defense in his rotations, getting closer to his man, stop drifting, stop letting guys go by him. He does make some really nice help defensive plays from time to time, but his on-ball defense isn't very good. And that's really going to have to be addressed if the Lakers are going to win some games in the second half of the season and make a push to be a playoff team. Because in my opinion, at 14-12, they are most definitely a play-in team at best. And if there's any injuries to this team that include their most important players, this team will lose 10-plus games in a row consecutively. They can be that bad. The way I've seen them lose games by 40, the way I've seen them lose games by 30, and those things happening on back-to-back games, the way I've seen JJ Redick coach games and the inability to coach in games, right? These types of things can have this type of season fall apart. So in my opinion, big win for the Lakers. Nice little bounce back for, LeBron to come in and drop some points and make some plays and just kind of slide right back into the groove of things. But, the most important thing I think is the fact that they beat the Grizzlies, which are a good team. They need to piece together some of these wins against these good teams. They need to stop getting beat by bad teams, right? As of right now, I'm still bearish on the Lakers. To me, they're not that impressive. They've had some really awful losses. The way they've lost those games are atrocious. JJ Redick is still a question mark in my opinion. And, as long as LeBron contributes to winning, doing what it takes to win, then I think the Lakers can actually win some games. But if LeBron is clearly just focused on stat padding, getting his numbers and looking good to anybody that will pander to whatever he's doing on his agenda, it's not going to lead to wins, and it's not going to lead to them making noise in the playoffs, making any type of run, right? He is going to have to be a leader on the defensive end if they are going to be a good team moving forward. He needs to help those guys along on the team to become better defensive players, because the Lakers really, outside of AD, are not a good defensive team. LeBron has the basketball IQ. He can help these players develop defensively, at least be in a position to make some defensive stops. We've seen it in moments. We've seen it happen from game to game and time to time. It just needs to be consistent. JJ Redick and LeBron have kind of taken the season by storm, right, as the leaders of the team, right? JJ Redick replacing Darvin Ham, LeBron kind of spearheading all those decisions. The accountability is on them. This roster, this team, this coach, it's all because of him. This is all LeBron's doing. So if they do poorly, it's on him. He's the one who's made all these decisions. So he needs to take ownership and do more to help this team win. And I don't really care what anybody says. He's 40 years old, blah, blah, blah. But he's making judgment calls and he's making decisions on behalf of this franchise. So yes, there is culpability. Yes, there is accountability. I'll be objective and say LeBron had a decent game. I'm just kind of going to show you guys something. Here's a shot chart. All right, the makes are the dark circles. The misses are the light circles. He made 3 shots in the paint. He missed 5 shots in the paint. Some of these are point blank at the rim. 6'8", 250. Why are we missing shots in the paint? Chances are the person defending you is smaller than you, right? Here's a miss from 15 feet. Here's another miss from 15 feet. Here are some threes. I guess decent. He hit 3. He missed 3. That's not bad. Overall, he shot 41% from the field. I mean, what am I supposed to be impressed by that? I don't think so. 5 turnovers, likely he had more. Not that impressive. He's old. My expectations for LeBron are different. But the reason the team is in this situation that they are is from him. He's made these calls. I think he needs to be more accountable on the one end of the floor where he seems to not be that engaged if they're going to win some games. Let's see what happens in the future. They got some important matchups coming. And if you guys want to hear more commentary videos, or if you want to see me break down some film and to kind of show you guys some of the things that I see when I watch the Lakers, some of the things that I see when I watch LeBron play, some of the things that I question, some of the things that I think look good or look bad, let me know, comment, drop me that line, and I can definitely make those videos for you. We got more content coming. Stay tuned. Subscribe if this is your first time catching my videos. We'll do a lot more sports content coming up soon. We're going to do some NFL stuff, more NBA stuff. So keep it locked, keep it tuned to the SMT Media Network. We out.